What's up, Kryptonians? Welcome to another episode of The Secret Origins. It's your boy Superfan K here. In this episode today, I am going to be talking about Spider-Man 3. Yep, I'm going to be talking about Spider-Man 3. This is going to be a retro review of one of my least favorite movies, probably in comic book history. Let's just talk about this shitty-ass movie. Spider-Man 3 is the third, obviously, in the original Spider-Man trilogy. It stars a lot of the same people that were in the first two movies. It's directed by the same guy. I came into Spider-Man 3 with a lot of hype, a lot of expectations. The trailer looked awesome. It looked a little bit overstuffed, but I was confident that the movie would straighten that out. And I loved the first two Spider-Man movies. Obviously, I have them on Blu-ray. Spider-Man 2, to this day, is probably my second favorite comic book movie of all time. And for the record, I'm a huge Spider-Man fan. First, let's talk about the actual problems with this piece of shit. The story. The story is all over the place in this one. This is the first movie where you could tell that Sony tried to do too much. They tried to put their hands on Spider-Man. There's a reason why Sam Raimi didn't want to come back to do Spider-Man 4, because Sony, the people at Sony, thought it would be a good idea to turn this movie into a clusterfuck of epic proportions. There's multiple stories going on, so I can't even say what the main story is. Spider-Man and Mary Jane are in love. Mary Jane is having problems with her play, like her actress career is failing, and Peter is an oblivious idiot in this movie and has no idea what's going on with Mary Jane. Meanwhile, his career as Spider-Man is taken off. Everybody loves him in the city. He starts this semi-flirtatious romance with Gwen Stacy, who has a crush on him. She's his lab partner at school. James Franco is back as Harry Osborn. He is obviously still bent out of shape from everything that happened in the previous two Spider-Man movies. He's the new Goblin in this one. At the beginning of the movie, he attacks Peter. Peter knocks him out with a web strand on a wall. And Harry conveniently loses his memory for half the movie. Oh, and besides all of that, you have Sandman. Sandman is in this movie. He gets created by falling into a vat of, sand or whatever it is, radioactive, and he becomes Sandman. But he's not really a villain. He just wants to get medicine for his daughter. So he's doing that. Spider-Man gets in his way, and they have a cool fight scene. There's a symbiote that comes crashing down on a meteor and attaches itself to Spider-Man's bike. And we have to deal with that subplot too. We have to deal with Peter and a rivalry with Topher Grace, aka the guy that's going to become Venom. Eddie Brock, this guy who was also trying to date Gwen Stacy, and then she starts feeling something for Peter. There's like 3 love triangles in this movie now that I think about it. You also have another subplot with Sandman being the one that actually killed Uncle Ben for some stupid reason. But what about the dumb what the fuck moments? Like where Spider-Man turns into some gothic faggot who starts twerking and shaking his ass on the street to imaginary jazz music? What the fuck? A symbiote doesn't make your hair turn black and you get eyeliner? Really? He got fucking eyeliner. I'm not making that up. Seriously. He's just walking down the street going dun 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 dun. Is this really happening? This is a Spider-Man movie. What is going on? It gets worse because there's another scene at a nightclub later where he goes with Gwen Stacy to Mary Jane and he puts on some kind of two-stepping, dancing, flipping all around, using his superpowers to show off in front of Mary Jane. And then he just kind of looks at her after and he's like, that was for you. We have transversed this world and gone into the insane. It was at that moment, I remember this moment. It's the first time I saw the movie. It was that moment I was just sitting there like, I want to leave. This doesn't feel like a Spider-Man movie. It is, and you have dumb moments like that throughout the entire movie. So Harry loses his memory, right? He loses his memory conveniently for half the movie. You know why the writers did that? They did that because they're too lazy to have Harry be a part of the story in a real way because they have all these other subplots they need to do. So he cooks eggs for Mary Jane, and so for some reason, right after he cooks eggs and he sees Mary Jane shaking what ass she doesn't have in the kitchen, he gets his memory back, just like that. It's so weird. Like, he goes to Mary Jane, he's like, you're gonna break up with Peter. And if I was her, I'd be like, my boyfriend is Spider-Man. What do I have to worry about this for? He's at a restaurant and Peter sees him. He goes there to him. He tells him that he's fucking Mary Jane. Harry looks back at him and gives him like this dickish wink. Then a car goes by and James Franco just turned into David Copperfield. Harry Houdini, he just disappeared into thin air. Then they have a fight. Peter blows off half of his face. And then later, when Peter goes to him, he asks him for help, and Harry's like, nah, fuck you. So Peter goes because he has to fight Venom and Sandman for the big finale. Harry's just sitting there. This butler who has said jack shit for 2 movies. Jack shit. In fact, you almost forget the butler is even in the movie. He has no role, he has no lines, he has no relevance, he has no nothing. And the butler, out of nowhere, comes up and says, hey, Harry, your father was the Green Goblin. I cleaned his wounds on the night he died. He died by his own blade. He wasn't killed. I loved you. Goodbye. How the fuck do you know what a glider wound looks like? Did you Google one? Have you had a lot of glider wounds happen before? Did Norman stab himself on his own glider before? Were you there for that shit too? Why are you waiting 3 years after the fact to say it conveniently right now when Spider-Man needs help? Are you kidding me? You weren't even there the night that he brought Spider-Man's body back. You weren't even there. This is what I refer to as a poner moment. Seriously, it's just one of those moments where something is so dumb that it just takes me out of the movie and I'm just done at that point. I don't care anymore. That was my poner. A poner stands for point of no return. And then they turn Harry into a good guy at the end, and then they kill Harry. Yeah, Venom is trying to stab Spider-Man, and Harry gets in the way. You know why they killed Harry? Because he became a good guy, and at that point, he ceased to become an interesting character. Sandman, they also introduced this really dumb subplot with him. Somehow, he's the one that killed Uncle Ben. The police, for no reason at all, decided not to tell Peter and Aunt May about this until just now when he escaped. And this is so dumb. Like, the way he describes it at the end, I was just sitting there in my seat like, come on, you've got to be kidding me. He's sitting there, and Uncle Ben is trying to talk to him. He has a gun. His partner runs past him, taps him on the shoulder, and for some reason he just pulls the trigger for no reason. Just boom, dead. I'm like, have you ever held a gun before? And then Venom. Let's talk about Venom. Yeah, because Topher Grace really sells us as a great Eddie Brock. No, he doesn't. I saw the movie. He's just this twerpy little whiny brat who complains and whines, and he tries to compete with Peter. He sucks. He really does. He sucks. And Venom is in this movie, and Venom is a big, iconic Spider-Man villain. You need to give Venom his respect. You need to give him his due. You know what they give him? 20 minutes. And he gets killed. And then Sandman, he comes up to Spider-Man at the end, and he's all like, oh, I didn't mean to. It was a complete accident. Forgive me. And then Spider-Man forgives him. It's like, oh, I forgive you. And then Sandman just kind of floats away. And it just ends with Peter and Mary Jane just kind of looking at each other really sad and dancing and shit. It's like, they put no effort into this movie. The CGI and special effects in this movie are not as good as the other ones. In the other ones, they use the CGI as a tool to like enhance the movie. In this one, there are like a lot of fully rendered digital faces. Like the CGI is so much more obvious in this one. It makes it even worse. In my opinion, this is just one of the worst superhero movies ever made. It's one of my least favorite of all time. I can't watch this movie again. It has some cool scenes, like it has that fight scene with Sandman and Spider-Man. It has that, you know, a couple of cool action scenes, but overall, just no. There's just too much that pisses me off when I think about this movie. It irritates the fuck out of me. I hate this movie, guys, and I will continue to hate this movie for probably the rest of my life. But thank you all for watching. Comment, like, share. Let me know what your favorite Spider-Man movie is. Subscribe to the YouTube channel at SuperFanK. If you like what you see, tell me how you feel, and stay tuned to hear more from the Man of Steel. Peace.